Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I will be the keeper for today's game of Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. We are playing Cults of Cthulhu. More specifically, we are playing Angel's Thirst, which is the second scenario in Cults of Cthulhu, and this is the finale episode. Our investigators have gotten through so much to get here, and at last they will be able to dive in and put the mysterious ritual that they have discovered to rest. Maybe, hopefully, at least that's the aim of things. We're going to be going back to our scheduled programming of Two-Headed Serpent starting from next week, but we also have some very, very cool news before we jump into things, and that is that about a month hence, the cast here will be at PAX Australia, where we will be doing a live game. So if you're around for PAX Australia, you can come and you can watch us, and we will have some more details of the logistics and the events surrounding that, which we will communicate in our Discord, being released pretty soon. As in, the information will be released pretty soon. The Discord, you can jump into right now. Go, do it, get involved. Anyway, I'll get the fantastic cast to introduce themselves for this episode, but first of all, a quick thank you to Sirenscape and to Roll20, tools which we use to improve our game. Let's have everybody introduce themselves, and to start off, I will throw to Art.
Hello, I'm Art, and I am playing Dr. Franklin Smythe, medical doctor and occultist extraordinaire who's currently in his home library study, reviewing some very heavy, both in weight and in content, tomes of occult lore to see if we can find out how to stop this ritual. And from what I remember, the answer is... you don't, but that's fine. We'll try.
It's pretty close to it. Pretty close to what you've discovered. You've got a chance to discover some more. But listen, while you're introducing your character, I realize since this is the finale episode, we might not get to know much more about these characters. So I figured that when everyone introduces themselves, I'm going to ask you one deeply, very important question about them. So for Dr. Smythe, I would love to know, what is the greatest challenge that Dr. Smythe has ever faced as a doctor?
The opinions and comments of his colleagues.
That's just work for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, Dr. Smythe has some interesting, interests and predilections, and he sees them as an extension of medicine in a new and interesting way, perhaps, methodologies or techniques that we can use to extend human life and reduce suffering, but some of his methods give his colleagues room for pause, and he finds their dissent tiresome.
Makes sense. Fair enough. Okay, there we go. A little bit of information about Dr. Smythe for us. Let's go across next to Jackson.
Hey, I'm Jackson. I'm playing Mandy Jenkins, a previous ex-cop, now a detective who's getting more hard-boiled by the minute ever since he started brawling with big beefy guards and shooting down sea monsters. I think he's slowly earned his stripes.
You just needed a little bit more time on the heat. That's all it is.
That's right.
So let me give you a question, Mandy. What's the most embarrassing thing Mandy's done on a case?
Oh, on a case. Well, there was... I'm waiting for my coffee to kick in. It's not here yet. There was that time where he got a hot cup of Joe on the way to a suspect interview, and immediately as he opened the door, he squeezed the coffee too hard and it kind of burst over his shirt, leading out to causing him to let out a high-pitched squeal, and then conducting the entire interview with an enormous half-brown shirt still dripping.
All right, perfect.
Did you get the confession?
You very much.
Nope. I actually confessed to more. He confessed to more than he wanted to.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Jackson. As we throw across to David.
G'day, my name is Dave, and I'm playing Suzanne Beasley. I'm a fixer with the Mafia, and I'm here to retrieve some stolen artifacts.
Excellent. A little question for you.
Yeah, hit me.
What's another really embarrassing thing that Mandy did? Okay. Let me ask you a little something about your Miss Beasley's life in with the mafia.
Yeah, hit me.
Obviously, you've been working for Lombardo, and you've been going a bit above and beyond, or trying to. If the opportunity came forward for you to really twist the knife and take control of things, is Miss Beasley gunning for the top job, or pretty comfortable where she is right now?
No, Miss Beasley is just looking to carve out a little section of her own where she can run things as she sees they should be run. She's not a pacifist by any means, but she sees a bit of the dark work that gets done and thinks it could be done with a little less broken knees and gouged eyes. She also has family inside the mafia, so it's sort of all about protecting your own and making space for it.
Fantastic. Excellent. And last but not least, across to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm playing Ethel Walters, former criminal, a current good lady about town, and about saved by the Lord and put her out of the crime, and trying her best to only do crime in service of the Lord.
Crime in service of the Lord. That sounds like a really good band name.
Well, it turns out that when you're facing horrors from beyond, a little bit of crime may in fact be a lot necessary.
Yeah, it's holy crime. It's a crime say. Anyway,
They're
you can have a little
an
bit of crime as a treat.
I'm a woman of the Lord.
It's a crime for humanity as opposed to against it.
One quick question for you then. When you were actively being a criminal, or maybe when you, I don't know if Ethel did a brief stint in jail or anything like that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Do you have any really funny, not super well thought out religious tattoos that you've got?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like Ethel's got she has one prison tattoo. She will not tell anybody what it is or where it is.
Okay, perfect. All right. At least we will have some mysteries remaining.
That's how we'll
about
identify
our
the body.
investigation.
And I would say that Dr. Smythe probably knows where it is because just sewed her up.
Yep.
I would say that nobody can tell what it is anymore.
I also think Dr. Smythe will take that and many other secrets to his grave.
That's what we like about
Absolutely.
Dr. Smythe.
Anyway, so let's jump back into our story. Very brief recap for those of you who are just joining for the finale, I guess, because people do that. Our investigators are looking into the disappearance of a man named Levi Diaz, a taxi driver, on behalf of his daughter. They have realized that behind the disappearance is the Society of the Angelic Ones, a church inside Los Angeles that has been responsible for the disappearance of several people over the years. Our investigators have discovered that members of the society are attempting a grand ritual out in the woods near the Angeles National Forest, where they will be attempting to summon some kind of strange being and commune with it using a lot of sacrifices. We pick up the story where our
Standard.
investigators, 3 of them at least, have just arrived at a rural gas station where they have found that the sacrifices are being held in preparation for the ritual, and they have dispatched the guards, and they are going in to rescue everybody and decide what their next move is. But first, I want to jump back into Los Angeles proper, talk to Dr. Smythe.
Hello.
We made a couple of roles for you last session, and this was reflecting the research that you were doing, but you still have a little bit more time. I'm going to give you some more general information as you go through, and this will represent the large window that you spend just reading through everything, going over all of your notes. But there is also kind of a direction you can take here. When you start to dive into the information a bit deeper, you could pick to either start looking into what you think the cult is doing, what the magic they are doing is, and reverse engineer it, try and figure out the ways you can stop it. Or you could start to look at magic that maybe you might be able to do. Information you might be able to get, and ways you could twist things yourself. Now, I'll tell you immediately, you're probably not going to get a spell here. That's going to be quite a large investment of time, the tomes that you have access to. But what you might be able to do is find a way to shift or change the ritual in some way to bring yourself some tangible benefit. It's a tough question.
It's not. It's not for me. It may be for Smythe. So the option is research ritual to stop ritual, or research ritual to make ritual my ritual.
Yeah, you start to read about what the end goal of the ritual is and the different points of it, and you start to think that you could get a pretty good logistical sense of what's going to happen throughout the entire evening. That's probably going to be pretty useful. But then you start hearing interesting things about bits.
So hearing interesting things? God, fuck, what was that?
Yeah. You hear about gifts. You hear about powers. You hear about stages of the ritual where blessings are bestowed on people if they just behave in the right way or do the right thing.
For all my predilections and bizarre interests, at least in the minds of people who are not me, I don't believe that asking an eldritch being from beyond comprehension to bestow a blessing upon me or any of my companions is the sane and rational thing to do. And currently, unfortunately, I am rather sane.
Very true. All right, so does that mean you will not be looking into the gifts? You will be looking into the ritual structure?
I will be looking into the ritual structure. That does not mean I am not looking at, I'm not looking at what would happen if people stepped in at different points, but I'm not looking at, giving myself any sort of advantage if we needed to do such a thing.
No,
so it's more understanding the structure, as you said, what's going to happen and when, to whom, and at what points we might be able to be none of that. Please and thank you. Fuck all the way off.
Understand. Excellent. Would you please make for me an occult check?
I thought you'd never ask. No.
Oh, okay. Not fantastic.
I mean, I could push it, but I don't know what that would mean.
You will get more information if you push it. And at this stage, I think the failure point would be I will probably apply a penalty at some point to something that happens in the ritual, because you understand it to go one way and then it doesn't go that way. So, for example, if a big scary monster comes out, you might take a sanity check with a penalty die because you were expecting a different big scary monster to come out. And you mentally primed yourself for that.
Jim, am I understanding right? You're offering me a penalty dice on a future sanity check if I fuck this up.
That is a possibility, but legally I must inform you what I might also be offering you is a penalty die on a dodge check associated with the ritual.
Death or glory, let's go!
Fantastic. All right, push the roll.
Oh,
Nice.
All right, good. I think I've failed most of my occult checks, with the exception of the one to ingratiate myself with the church. So I feel like I needed that win, you know?
Yep.
And yet we're all a little bit disappointed.
Hey, look, I'm still okay with taking a penalty to a sanity check for another reason, and/or for Smythe to just off a cliff, but it'll just have to happen more organically.
It's true.
So you go through the various tomes and the various documentation that you have gathered from all of these different sources, from the beach houses of Mr. Man and his Deep One allies.
Sea man, specifically.
Yeah. Sea. Oh God, I didn't.
Really?
You didn't get the sea man and no.
I somehow didn't get the pun. I was just it's funny that it's a man. Anyway, okay. And obviously,
It would have been Carl with a K.
Society of the Angelic Ones, and you get basically a loose itinerary of what the procedure should look like. You are pretty sure that tomorrow morning there are going to be a couple of cultists, just the most important ones, that are going to get to the site. And by most important, like not the leadership, but the senior cultists. Not specifically, not Wilma Cartwright and Elise Cartwright, the bosses, are going to arrive at the ritual site in the morning. They're going to bring a big obelisk with them, and they're going to set that up. They're going to start driving stakes into the ground, and they're going to set up chains.
Just
it's all
festival
kind of
setup. They're
it's literally a festival
Get
setup.
the obelisk up. Classic.
Pushed off.
Make sure
They'll
there's
be
enough
working
water
for a
bottles for
while,
everyone.
bringing in trucks back and forth, and then people will be arriving at the site, setting up tents and everything, getting catering together,
Gossiping, catching up.
and then by about
Burning Man.
by about noon, the sheriff is going to arrive and is going to lock everything off, and no one is going to be allowed unless they are part of the cult to the area. Then over the next several hours, the cultists are going to start getting the more creepy stuff ready when everything is locked down. And you think at about 6 p.m., Wilma and Elise are going to arrive, and the ritual will begin. And in terms of like celebrations and dances and chants and things like that. Then at 10 p.m., they're going to pick up the hostages. They're going to drive them into the site. And then that is when everything is going to get really bad. You think that if you are able to interrupt proceedings before the sacrifices start to die, you probably can avoid all of this kicking off. That said, you are also pretty sure, as we said last session, that they will draw from their own number if they cannot achieve the sacrifice quota that they need elsewhere. And whether they use enough or not, it's going to come down to like a roll on their behalf to see if they successfully complete the ritual or if they are punished for their insolence.
One other thing, I have a note from last session, and I don't know whether this was me assuming or you had given me this info, but the relics that they have are integral to the ritual.
Yes,
is that correct?
yes, they are. So that, like the sacrifices, they can try and do it without them, but it reduces their chances substantially. And if they don't have the sacrifices or the ritual pieces at that point, proceeding would be insane. Are they insane? Definitely. But it means that effectively they're just going to blow themselves up, if no more than, gain knowledge. So kind of a success there.
And
Anyway.
the sanctity of human life doesn't extend to people who wish to off themselves for strange and bizarre reasons. So if they want to drop a bunch of TNT in the middle of their group and have a fun time, by all means.
Well, you have received all of the information,
Yay.
and then you will glance across towards the side of your offices, where I presume you have a phone of some sort, and we'll cut back to our other 3 investigators who will be at the rural gas station near the Angeles Forest. There is a phone inside that facility, but first of all, let's go over what happens immediately afterwards. In the wrap-up of things, what are you doing with the 2 unconscious people?
I think one
Unconscious?
of them's dead. I think the big guy died.
Yeah, I think we stabbed one of them, didn't we? Like there was the kid.
I don't think he died. I think he made a constitution check and failed.
Oh, he's dying. He's just bleeding out.
He's not even
Okay.
died. He definitely had a major wound.
Yeah, knocked him unconscious.
Maybe he never got a major wound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The big guy was just knocked unconscious. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
right. And the little guy, I just sat on him.
You grabbed
Yeah,
his
so
ass.
you've got one held down, Ethel, and the other one, you walked up behind him, Mandy, and you whacked him over the back of the head with the cudgel, and he took a major wound, and he made the constitution save, and he pitched forward. He is unconscious, but he is still alive.
As Miss
Tie the kid up, put him in the trunk.
As Miss Walters is returning with the other one, and Mandy's getting off, and we're sort of regathering herself, Miss Beasley is going to reload her single-shot Derringer and go to put a bullet in the back of the big guy's head. Very matter-of-factly.
Hold on. He's not hurting
We don't
anyone.
want that one to wake up.
This man is a
Trouble he was
cultist.
given.
This man has abducted people, and if we leave him be, he could ruin our mission. This man has to die.
And
Okay,
if he
but
wakes up again, do you really want to fight that guy again?
we can tie him up. He's not going to hurt
Getting him
anyone. He's going to
down-
wake up with a big headache. We can drop
He's not,
him
Mandy.
off at the station.
Mandy,
This is the
sweetie.
safest, and this is the most reliable option.
Sweetie, he's not going to wake up at all. I'm with you, Miss Beasley.
Mr. Jenkins, you're being paid to do a job. Let me do mine. You can step away if you'd like.
Here, help me with this youngin. Come on. And you're like,
Randy, you turn around,
him
you
in.
walk over, and you pick up the other guard. I assume you hear a loud bang from behind you. Do you want to make a sanity check, Mandy? Is this a sanity check kind of situation?
Yeah, why not?
Can I make a sanity check too?
Sure.
Just gonna say, like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely, Miss Beasley's definitely putting
well,
on
I don't want to be
a
left out.
something of a
That's
stereo.
fantastic.
Roll.
I'm good, I think.
We get a round of sanity checks to the table. Is everyone gonna?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I could do a full D6.
Ethel, you were fine with this, and you've got a hard success to prove it. You knew it
Better
had
than
to
time.
happen. Mandy,
That's why I was
you
coming
weren't
over to
feeling
do
great
myself.
about it. Do you want to take a D2 of sanity damage?
D2.
And Miss Beasley, you put on a brave face.
I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't think it was going to be as easy as it was. Well, excellent. Once the large cultist is dealt with, you still have this younger one. You can move both of them inside the main gas station area if you would like. When you get in there, you are going to find that this is where they have been living. There's some like cots set up to one side. There's like heaps of food wrappers and like every kind of like preserved camping food just tossed around. They haven't really been keeping the place very neat. You will also eventually head back out to the shed, and in the basement there, you are going to eventually find that that is where they have been keeping the hostages. There are a whole group of people there. So let me know what your aims are, and we'll go into a scene if you want to approach the hostages, if you want to start searching the gas station. As I mentioned, there will be a phone, and you know Dr. Smythe's contact details, so you can get in contact with the doctor to let him know any details that you want to.
I'm probably going to write a little note, and like just basically saying, teenager stuck at gas station, basically giving the directions. And I'm going to say to after we've tied him up and left him in a corner, the young kid. Now I'm going to post this on the way back home, and the United States Postal Service is swift enough, so you'll be okay, all right?
Do you want to make me an intimidate check? And this isn't you trying to achieve something as much. I'm just wondering how
Yeah.
terrifying you are.
He's got a gag in.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I? I've got.
He's conscious
my intimidate
again?
is not great. It's not too bad. Yep. Yeah.
That's-
We good.
You're pretty scary.
I'm just big.
Yeah, exactly. And you know this kid tried to fight you and lost. So there's,
Yeah.
but then
I did rugby tackle him,
yeah.
and there's
Pretty,
probably some blood coming through the bandages, and like up close, Ethel's face has been broken several times. Like this woman looks more like a boxer than anything else once you get up close.
not the kind of person you want to mess with, and this guy appears to acknowledge that. He doesn't say anything more. You've got your little note
How
set
old's
up,
this
and you
kid?
can.
Probably 19. I think we
19,
established
20.
like late teens. He's a
Miss
kid.
Walters.
He's a teenager.
Who do you intend to inform and alert
Oh.
them that this man is here?
I'm going to send it to the local church. There's a Protestant church down in my neighborhood, and they're very good at caring for people. So
Again, if he's been committing crimes,
This man has
we should
abducted
probably-
and held several people hostage.
tell the cops.
well, we can send the note back to the cops. I don't really care who we send it to, but I mean, this
Well, the
is
sheriff is
a
compromised.
child. the sheriff is compromised. Look, his own conscience is going to have to see him through, knowing that all of the people he has aided in kidnapping were going to die because of him. I think that is something that is going to weigh on his conscience fairly heavily for the rest of his life. He's just a kid.
I think you.
He nods enthusiastically. He heard the gunshot outside.
I think you're giving this man too much credit. My suggestion would be we untether the hostages that have been taken, include him with them, and then once everyone's let loose, they can decide if they want him to return to the police safely, give him over to the church, or seek their own justice.
I agree, actually. I'll give them the note. They can decide if they want to post it.
I think we're agreed
Well,
there.
I'm outnumbered here. That's fine.
What would you have us do, Mr. Jenkins? What is your
You
conscience
take it
guide?
to the cops. He committed crimes. You go to jail for committing crimes.
Mr. Jenkins, we know that one of the sheriffs
the
is
police are
a member
compromised.
of these cultists.
Yeah.
We can't trust them. Unfortunately,
No,
this
yeah.
is... There's holes in
We
the
can try to
system
find-
all over the city, and we try and patch them where we can.
Find one of the good ones, but I guess we don't have time.
Well, with that in mind, you can
Untie the hostages.
back out and get towards the shed at the back of the property where you'll be able to go to the hostages, the sacrifices, and hand the situation over to them. Pretty much, at least. The shack is this basically corrugated iron, like garden shed sort of thing. It's not very well put together, although there is a very heavy modern padlock out the front. You're able to use a key, which you will find on either of the guards. They both have one. Open it up, slide off the chain, which rattles, and head inside. There's a pretty bad smell from in there, and when you can see that there's a couple of tools, but they're rusted and unused. There's a staircase that heads down to a covered basement with cement walls. And in there, basically chained up to walls with enough slack that they're sort of crouched on the ground, are 13 hostages. They're not in fantastic condition. They've been kept here for a while. They've been cared for, but not well enough. When you come in, they all sort of like flinch away, but then seeing somebody will all kind of shift up and stand and start to talk when they see that you don't fit the standard archetype of cultist. Are you still wearing the robes, Miss Beasley?
I'm taking them off.
Probably.
Okay, well, in which case they're probably a little more cautious, but even still, with the two of you arriving, breaks the usual routine of things. You can see that there is one man in particular who looks like he's been here for less time than everybody else, and he fits the description and the photograph that you would have been shown by his daughter of Levi Diaz. Standing up, he kind of looks towards the three of you. He seems to be in the best condition of everybody, and he will say, you know, hey, who else is here? The other two?
Honey, the other two are taken care of. You're all right. And Ethel's probably just going to start untying people walking around. Your family, I'm very worried about you. I assume you were Mr. Diaz.
Oh, thank God. Yes, that's me. That's me.
Wonderful. You seem like you're doing okay there. You haven't been here as long as the others. There is food in the gas station. I think some of these folks may need
Yes.
food and a trip to the restroom and some water, fresh water, definitely. Maybe you can.
Yes, all of that sounds. Maybe a doctor for some.
Well, we've got a few other pressing concerns about why you were taken that we need to take care of. Now, there is one individual. You asked about the others, right? There is one individual who we have restrained, tied up in the gas station. He is a kid. He's a young one, a youth. So go easy on him, but given he was part of the group who took you from your home, so we figure we'll leave it to you whether you leave him here when you leave, inform the police, inform the church, which I think you probably should, but not the church, but like the actual church, you know.
Right. I
Oh, you probably don't know about that. I'm sorry. I'm rambling, honey. Just, I hope you're okay.
You untie everybody and bring them upstairs, and as you said, there is water, there is food, and everybody can.
I'm corralling and making sure no one leaves.
Okay, sure. Nobody immediately tries to run off. First of all,
Oh,
there is
she's
only
not a
one.
cultist. It's just wowza, just in case disguise sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, you make that clear. There's only one car, and you are all in the middle of the woods. Basically, so it's not if you just sort of sprint it off. It's getting closer to the afternoon. Not a great time.
They're not
to go
necessarily in their right minds, though.
That's true. But they're also pretty physically weak. Most of them. Levi Diaz is in the best state. Because you're going towards a ritual, and there's a whole thing about you might be wanting to get allies. It explicitly states that the only person in fit condition to fight or struggle is Levi Diaz. So,
I think
everybody
the
else
rest
is.
of the hostages need him.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So everyone sticks around, and can sort of take care of themselves a little. They don't appear to, at this stage, approach or deal with the final cultist, whose name, by the way, is Joey.
No, we didn't
They
ask.
will.
We didn't ask. We don't care.
It's Joseph, an adult name
Levi
for an
Diaz-
adult man.
talks to you both and says, yeah, I heard them talking. What the big one, wherever he is, he's called Barney. The other one's Joey. There's another one who comes by occasionally, has a car called Otis. I think they're saying the next time he was coming, he was going to be picking us up. I think, and that's what I've heard. I can tell you any other details, but yeah, I mean,
You don't remember when?
sometime tomorrow.
But he'll know.
If you had the benefit of Dr. Smythe's knowledge, you would probably understand that to be when they're going to pick up the hostages. But yeah,
Well, we presumed they'd be coming to get them because they're part of the ritual. We knew that much.
Yes.
Joey might have the specifics on it. All that's clear is these people can't stay here. If they do, they'll just be taken again. They're in no condition to fight, and we don't want this to turn into a showdown. They need to leave, even if it's just to hide in the nearby woods. They also really can't go back home just yet. Anyone that finds out that they've been released could,
Just pick him up
Pick
again.
up again.
yeah.
Kinda
And also
sucks.
they'll be
Well,
aware
they
that
need-
there are people acting against them. We've still got the, surprise going.
If anyone needs medical attention, can we bring him to the doctor?
I think they all need. How many
I
are
think-
there, Jim? Like a dozen?
There's 13 total, including Levi Diaz. To be clear, they're not these. They're not in. None of them are in critical condition. They're all just they're very tired, very underfed, sickly. Basically, they'll be okay, and they can. They can. They could work with Levi to get somewhere and hunker down. That's all right. The thing you could do is you could bring the doctor here if you wanted to, because you're pretty
Yes.
close to the ritual site at this stage. That's
Okay,
probably
yeah.
rather than ferrying everyone back the other way.
Mr.
And that
Wall.
way we might be able to bring another vehicle or something with us if we can acquire another vehicle or
Miss Walters
Although-
and Mr. Jenkins, if I could speak to you privately for a
of
moment.
course, yeah.
These people can't leave, and Joey is a risk. Miss Walters, you seem to have the knack for scaring the man. Do you think you could convince him to get in touch with this Otis? Somehow explain that Joey and Barney will take them directly to the ritual, make sure that no one's going to pick them up. Just anything we can do to draw this out so that when we arrive, we still maintain the surprise is good. Otherwise, we probably have to set up an ambush for the last cultist returning.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest, because then we have an extra vehicle that these fine folks can then use.
I mean, it's
Maybe
an
ask him
idea.
to come as soon as possible, an ambush.
Well, we want to collect the doctor first,
Yes.
and yeah, or maybe we do that. I'm
On the
sure
other
I can.
hand-
I'm sure I can get Joey to.
Or maybe if this Otis shows up and everyone's just missing, that's going to delay him more because he's got to figure out what to do and maybe try try to go looking for him. Is that going to cause more of a delay than?
Yeah, maybe we
Ambushing him
do what we
and
were going to
things
do,
going
wait
wrong.
for
Bad
Otis
thought.
to
Just
come.
leave. I'm just worried that getting all these people out is not going to be so easy.
No, there's too many for us to get out of here.
I want to bring Dr. Smythe into this conversation at the
Okay.
very least. You do have a phone there, so I think based on you're not able to treat these people yourselves. If you'll permit it, I might, unless you want to keep things secret from Dr. Smythe for some reason, I might say you call him and you sort of you get some just basic information across.
Why don't we just send a
Excellent
car to get
idea.
Dr. Smythe and bring him here? There's no reason not to, right? Do we want to just do that
Yeah.
much, and then we can just say we're treating and continuing on? Yep.
Okay.
Let's
Perfect.
do that.
You can. So one of you can jump back into the
call
the
Dr.
cab,
Smythe and let her know
or you
when
can
we're coming,
even just
but-
contact Dr. Smythe and say, "We'll come up here." So it's a bit of a trip. You have time, the three of you, to sort of talk through things with the sacrifices and former sacrifices now, hopefully, and make sure that
Jim,
Night is
they're
young.
people.
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 With the people, and then before long, Dr. Smythe, you will arrive very quickly. Do you want to have sent somebody to pick Dr. Smythe up, or do you want to have called Dr. Smythe and said, "Come in another car"? And now you can have a second
Do
vehicle.
you have a
Another
vehicle?
car.
I have
Hearse.
We
You have a
established.
hearse that can fit 13 people?
I have a credit rating of 50. I'm pretty sure I have a personal vehicle.
Then yeah, I can just drive out.
Is it a
Perfect.
hearse?
So you're-
No.
That would have been so good.
It
that-
would be, but they're slow and like unwieldy, and I think like Smythe
excellent
has a
battering
kind
ram.
of vehicle that allows him to make house calls in locate
And
Yeah.
not scare the shit out of them.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, far flung ish, like off the beaten track kind of thing. So it's like it's just a probably closer to one of those like 1920s ambulances, like it's a a kind of van kind of thing with some medical supplies in it.
Your other direction is to go something garish and silly that's just complete. Anyway, let's leave it at the 1920s ambulance because
Oh, it still absolutely has like something hanging from the rearview mirror that is appropriately sort of like
macabre.
possibly like floral and lacy, because again, my mother found these really very important, and I'm loath to part with them. And she was such a woman. Yeah, he's got a weird mix of like very macabre, and then every now and again just something really dainty and like feminine,
Nana chic?
and like and you're like, this is even worse in comparison.
You arrive at the gas station. You can park your car to the side. You'll be able to rejoin the others where you can plan out the moves that you want to make.
I would very much like to, if these three are in a deep conversation, just go up to whomever is likely to be paying the least amount of attention and just say hello.
Manny
Sorry.
suitably.
You called and I came. Hello.
Yeah. It came very quietly.
I mean, one must move respectfully around the dead, and at a certain point it just becomes the norm.
Okay. Well, we have
No, go on.
12 rather sickly people primed to be killed in the name of some unknown god that they might raise it and commune with it. We
Yes, no, I am aware.
are against that happening. Let us put our heads together and come up with a plan. Tomorrow night is when it all kicks off, so we have the night, but then we should probably expect someone will make contact here before then. They may just ring the phone now that we know it works. So actually, keeping young Joseph around is possibly not the worst idea to have someone who can answer it. If it comes down to it.
So I suppose it really depends on at what point we want to be actively involved in the proceedings of the ritual. In the morning, they'll be sending a small group to do setup. At about midday, the sheriff will be making sure that no unauthorized parties make their way into the ritual site. Early evening, the head of the church will make her appearance with her daughter. And then around 10 p.m., the hostages are being collected. I'm not sure if we want to be at the ritual site early to try and stop it at the pass, but if we don't have any better ideas, my recommendation would be to wait for the van that comes to get the hostages, kill the driver or incapacitate him in some way, take the van and act as though we are the delivery people for the hostages, at which point we can step out and try and do what needs to be done. That said, that does put us in a precarious position of being very late to the party.
We know there's some
Well, I'm glad we
40
called
or
you.
50 cultists that are going to be present. I think this comes down to, are we willing to go into an uphill battle? Or do we just accept that we might not be able to prevent this entirely? We may not dissolve a cult in one long day.
I have a question. You said they need the hostages to do the ritual.
No,
We've got the hostages, right?
they don't need they don't need these people specifically.
Well,
they
yes.
just
People.
need people, and
What do you think the likelihood of them sacrificing their own are? Because
extremely high.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And they got more people, right? It's not just here. There was...
If we're talking about a cult of people that worship some kind of eldritch entity or deity, then fanaticism and zealotry would see, I suspect, a number, if not a significant one, of their group being quite willing to give their lives for the cause. That being said, there is another angle we could take if we're willing to risk some fallout.
By all
Yeah.
means.
The ritual is composed of a few different sections: sacrifices of human life to buy this entity's pleasure, but also requires the use of some relics, which I believe we've spoken of before, and these are currently hidden somewhere, most likely in the church itself. Doing the ritual without the appropriate number of sacrifices is foolhardy. Doing it without the relics is likewise foolhardy. Doing it without both is suicide. Now, I don't think these people are against the idea of potential suicide if it means they'll get what they want, but the likelihood of them getting what they want is very small without those two things. So if there is an opportunity before the ritual starts for us to acquire those relics and deposit them in a safe location or destroy them if possible.
Well,
that
not
would-
destroy them.
No.
We
Those
need them back for some extra pay.
well, those relics are owned by my boss. They'll be returned to him. That's what I've been sent to retrieve. As far as I'm concerned, we've stopped innocent people dying. We retrieved the relics that were stolen. If they want to spend their evening killing one another in the woods, that's their prerogative. I don't truly believe that they have any sort of ability to commune with something ancient. I think they are hopped up on hallucinogens and they're free to spend the afternoon as they please. I'd like to retrieve the
Alright.
relics and then they can continue as they like.
Ms.
Here's the thing,
Beasley,
though.
I would
Once again, I find myself agreeing with Miss Beasley there. Let's get the relics and get the hell out of Dodge.
We don't exactly know where they are, though. We don't really want to stumble around looking for them if we know that they're gonna be.
We know where
tomorrow
they'll
night.
be. I think
We know where they're gonna be.
we get there early, we get ourselves dressed up in the robes we've already acquired, we retrieve the relics when possible, and then we make haste. We've already saved these people. From here on out, it's just a job.
I will remind all of you that less than 24 hours ago we met fish people, which I'm pretty sure none of us believed existed prior to that point. So while I am somewhat of in agreement, Miss Beasley, that it's unlikely these cultists know what it is they're trying to do,
They
I'm
still
not
have the potential to do
entire.
it.
I don't entirely agree with you that it's all hallucinogens.
Well, we met something, certainly something from the ocean. I don't know a great deal about the ocean and creatures that come out of it. We met something terrible, yeah, but
People
I
have
don't know.
been crying in the dark for ages. They don't understand what they're talking to, but most likely it's just the stars above. They've never been answered so far. I doubt it's likely to happen tomorrow night.
Have you ever actually looked at the stars, Miss Beasley?
I've had no real call to. I'm not one for
There's an
camping.
awful lot of void out there.
Well, then perhaps tomorrow will be our last night on Earth, or one we recognize. But if it is, I intend to do so with the artifacts that own to my boss, returning to him and bathing in praise and cash. That's how I'd like to go.
I would like to suggest that we attempt to recover these relics prior to the beginning of the ritual, and if we fail, then try again. But if we can cut it off at the pass, that may indeed be the safest. Once the ritual begins,
Well,
I worry about the physical safety of people. Miss Walters worries about the spirituality, but I do have
Yeah.
to lean more towards Miss Walters' concerns and say that I have worries about our mortal souls if we're...
Oh, we go with God. My question is, what else did we want to do before this ritual? Is there anything else we had planned that may supersede our desire to go rooting around in that their church?
I got a message to Detective Brooker just
Right.
to see if he can help. I told him about the ritual site and the gas station, I think. Am I right? Do
Yes,
remember what I said?
you
I think
got
sent in
got
like
a
the
letter
mail,
across.
so it might not arrive.
No, I dropped it off at his front door.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, nice.
So, I mean, if there's any more prep we need to do, we could do it. But I'm happy to stay here just in case either Brooker or Otis shows up earlier than expected.
Sorry, just out of character. Was the message that you sent specifically about the gas station, or was it about the ritual?
I said there's a ritual happening here. They need hostages. The hostages being kept here. You want to do something about it?
Okay.
You
Time to
dickhead?
show you colors, guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have one more evening before anything starts. Do we wish to take the cover of night and try and find these objects, relics, before everything starts? Or are we willing to risk the possibility of the cult having everything they need to proceed?
So I'm just jumping in quickly here. Logistically, you know that the church is on the equivalent of like, a high alert, like they're getting everything ready. You could do the climax of this scenario at the church or at the ritual
Right.
site.
Do it as the
If
ritual
you-
when some
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
weird thing starts coming out of the
Yeah,
ground.
if you hit the church and you know that there's secrets there, and you'll either succeed, get everything done in a fell swoop, and leave, or if you fail, they will know of the activity. They will enhance everything. They will call in the sheriff. They will make any action at the ritual site untenable. So it's basically which direction you want to do it. You can absolutely try to use the element of surprise and hit the church, but it's up
I was
to you.
going to argue it in character as we know the artifacts are going to be taken here. For the time being, they have no idea we're acting against them. We keep the surprise, we hit them, and we get out. And so argue that we go to the ritual, and when the artifacts come in, take it, and then everything will go wrong anyway.
Agree. The last time we tried to do anything with that church was a bit of a little bit of a mess around.
I had a lovely conversation with them. Very pleasant.
Well, Mandy and I nearly fell off a roof. So
I remember.
So the church is challenging and risks giving us away well before the ritual. I think we know where they're gonna be.
Jim, just clarifying the itinerary. Was there a specific time at which the artifacts were being delivered? Like, was that part of the a.m. small group of bullshit, or was that the creepy shit after lunch?
It'll be probably after, it'll be after lunch. It'll be after the sheriff locks down the area, but it'll be part of the larger setup. Like they will be doing it incrementally, so you will be able to sort of get in there while they're setting up the stage, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was more just like, is there anything in the no, because I have books about how the ritual proceeds, not their specific.
You have some of their plans. You got some of those from both Carl Mann and from
Then I specifically, do I know when the relics are being delivered?
There's not an exact time, but they should. Like if you aim for sort of around like 4 p.m., which would be sort of the peak of where their work is happening, but before everyone arrives to actually have the ritual begin, they'll almost certainly be there.
Okay. So I guess that begs the question, do we try and go in early when people who aren't associated with the cult are allowed to potentially get in and hide? Or do we try and sneak in after and give ourselves less time to be discovered?
I suggest we get in before the gates go up.
Early.
That's an awful long time to stay hidden and out of the way.
Well, if we're garbed as such, and if we already start ingratiating ourselves there, or we could just hide under a bush for 8 hours.
Are we still? What about the idea to go in with taking Otis's van?
And the risk is that as soon as the doors open and there's no hostages, unless we bring the hostages, but that seems
nope.
stupid.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's bad.
I mean, I think one way or another.
Well, look, Otis shows up here. There were no hostages. He goes and tells them. Alternatively, Otis shows up here. We take his van. Otis doesn't show up at the ritual site.
We could have Otis. We could try and get Otis to come early as well. We could have Joey call.
Yeah, and currently Otis should be here getting to the place at about 10 p.m. is what you think.
Yeah. So I think if we haven't resolved what we're trying to do by the time Otis arrives to collect the hostages and realizes something's wrong, we have already failed we're scrambling.
We could put your man, the fellow you were sent to collect, in charge here. We could there's 13 people and one cultist, unassuming. We just make sure that they have Joey well enough controlled that he comes out and goes, yeah, man, it's all good. Come inside. And they just fucking jump his ass. Like we've got 13 people. We can they can hopefully jump one guy.
Tired, malnourished people.
If you suggest something like this to Levi, he will say, just give me a gun, and then it's fine.
Don't we have an army bag of guns too?
We do have quite a lot of those.
You give Levi a gun, and he says, all right, if a cultist comes, I'll shoot him.
Fuck yeah, sweet. That gets you a grenade. Good job.
There. There may be a police detective coming as well.
Don't shoot
that's fantastic then. That's
shoot
that's
on
great.
Sight.
No, it's fine. If the police arrive, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, depends on which part of the police.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Give a description of your mate.
Give
so
an
that he knows who to ask
story
for.
that he'll be able to confirm.
Brooker. Yeah, Detective Brooker. If he comes, there's a good chance he's one of the good ones.
Okay.
I'd put it at more than 50% chance that he's here to help.
Good odds.
But keep your wits about you.
I'll do my best.
This is a lot of pressure to put on two NPCs relying on the plan to go right.
Yep.
These people have been armed and given a fighting chance. From here on out, they are their own men and women. Let them take charge. We're not staying here. What are we doing? Let's get to the site. Let's get in early. Probably not tonight, but like tomorrow first thing.
We're gonna go sleep and get ourselves prepared for
good
tomorrow.
Night's sleep.
If we're not planning to get to the ritual, no, we're planning to get to the ritual site early. Okay, yeah.
We could spend the whole night crank calling the cultists. Like just doing like classic, is your refrigerator running jokes? See if that keeps them up. Really throw them off their game.
Yeah. Last minute, we were going to inform Buddy about the ritual and see if we could just get some extra bodies there, right?
I'm concerned
last
that
minute.
they've been infiltrated. Last minute's a good call. Why don't I call him right before we leave and just say, hey, I'm going to be there. I'm going to have your artifact. We could use a little extraction.
Yeah, we may need an extraction. And then if you give him the artifacts, then yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Ask me
You tell him the artifacts are going to be there. And if he seems unwilling, he can put me on the phone.
Okay.
The last spanner to throw in the works there is we're going early and we call him early. That gives them all day, if there is a mole in the organization, to be like, yo, something's up and we need to change plans. So just throwing that out there is like
and that was what I was concerned about.
It's a bit of a hike, and there's a bit of an organizational thing for it.
But if I call them, they may just call the church and go, hey, that's why I'll suss it.
Well, I'll tell you when you have the chance to do it, but there's the basic plan.
Yeah.
So, having armed and prepared the people who were previously hostages, Levi will bid you all farewell, and I think you can.
I will give them all I'll leave some medical supplies with them and give them all a once-over. I'm assuming I don't need to roll if they're not actually injured, just all right, let me check your temperature and make sure you're not coming down with a fever.
They are already in the process of sort of recovering, some good food and a few nights sleep, and they should be back on the mend. You're out in the countryside now, but you can drive away to like a rest stop that gives rooms, and you can actually just set up there. There's plenty of them around here, and you'll be able to find somewhere, station yourselves there, sleep the night, which I can imagine is full of tension and anticipation of what is coming in the morning.
Are we still a bit out of the city?
Yeah, absolutely. You're in like a country rest stop.
It'd be cool if as we pull into the rest stop and we're all getting out to get rooms and things, we can all look up from here further out in the city and you can see the starry sky and also the voids in between and just have a little bit of like, that can't be real, right?
No way. No.
Well,
way. No,
you can have that.
Awesome.
The good doctor looks up and is just like, yeah.
Mandy looks up and goes, the stars! What's that bright? Oh, no, it's happening tonight. We got the dates wrong.
Under a brilliantly starry sky, which is not quite right yet, the four of you head into the rest stop. You sleep. You steal yourselves. Does everyone want to share like a cool a single moment? Montage style of themselves prepping for the big day?
Ethel is taking off one of her bandages and is redoing her bandages, and when she's done with the hole in her side, she rips off some additional bandages and wraps her hands like a boxer.
Fuck yeah.
And sets herself up
Very
that
cool.
away.
You mostly don't have a hole anymore.
And you
have an indent.
The indent, the stitched up indent, sutured indent, and also gets tape around the baseball bat that she's got, and kind of just basically sets herself up to give and take hits as many as possible.
Sick.
Hell yeah. Anyone else?
Is Miss Walters still on less than max health?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I can mechanically do anything about that, but given that she's still my patient.
She'll heal 1 point tonight because there's no longer
Yeah,
major wounds.
you cannot.
Because
You
rolled so well earlier.
have medical Miss Walters far beyond the borders of where she should be able to be medicined. She will restore an additional hit point tonight, but that'll be the end of it.
Okay.
Doesn't she get D3 if she's got medical attention?
That's for the medical role itself.
Right.
And then it's just one
You heal 1 per night
thereafter.
as long as you don't have much wound.
Regardless, I don't think Dr. Smythe is not a fighting man. So short of cleaning his scalpels, which I don't think is necessary at this point, because they're always immaculately clean, he will essentially spend the evening prior to going to bed attending to Miss Walters. As I said, she is his patient, making sure that all of the bandaging and wrapping is both tight enough and comfortable to allow for movement while not slipping off and causing additional infection. And going through the finer points of laudanum dosing with Miss Walters as this is probably how much you can take if you want to function once it wears off. This is how much you can take if you don't care about your long-term health and like well-being. And I will leave that in your hands as a doctor in all good conscience. I cannot advise you to do such a thing, but should you decide to, you now know how to do it in such a way that means that if you take a certain amount, it won't kill you instantly.
For the viewers, what's laudanum good for?
Laudanum
Absolutely nothing. Sorry.
Laudanum is a mixture of usually whiskey, honey, and opium, given in various quantities, dependent on which doctor made it. Rousseau's laudanum was what I based Joseph's laudanum concoction on. It is the strongest, and usually the dosage is like 1 to 4 drops on like the tongue. But for, long-term users, it can be more watered down, etc., but it's usually a small bottle of liquid. And yeah, it's liquid opium with whiskey and honey to make it not taste like balls. That's it. That's laudanum.
Liquid,
it's great.
good time.
Delicious.
Great combo. Mandy and Miss Beasley, any final vignettes?
Yeah. So Miss Beasley is going to wash herself down, and by the time morning comes, affix the pin in her hat, then draw it. I just not the hat. I just sort of slide it to pin her hair back, and then underneath the cloak. I suppose probably before putting on the cultist robes, I'm going to head down to the reception, and I'm going to give them a closed letter and tell them to to call a friend of mine at about like midday, and it's not actually going to be the boss because he's not easily contacted by randoms. It's going to be Marconi first, and
Excellent.
then he'll get word through, and I know he's invested in this getting resolved, so that'll be the way that. So they should only contact them at like 4 p.m. or something.
Marconi, who you would know as Harris, the person who popped up. Yeah, all right, I'll do it. And excellent, brilliant.
So that'll get solved, and then I'm good to go.
Perfect. Mandy.
And Mandy wakes up with a stomach ache that doesn't go away as he ties his shoelaces and clips on a duffel bag that he can. And as he goes to brush his teeth in the bathroom, he looks in the mirror and he pauses for a moment. He squints and he lifts up his neck. So for the first time, he's seen the subtle grey dappling of stubble. And his stomachache disappears and he turns around and strides out of the room, slamming the door behind him.
Fucking hell
Awesome.
yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so you load up into the car and you drive towards the ritual site proper. It's a little bit. Sorry, did I mishear something?
So I was
okay.
making car sounds. Does that help?
I thought someone said like wait for a second. You drive out towards the ritual site. It's a little further out than the gas station, but you get there nice and early, well before anybody is going to be there. You can do this one of two ways. You can park the car really far away where no one's going to see it, and you can hike. Or you can hide the car.
You've got quite good disguise, don't you, Mr. Jenkins?
Yeah. Can I use disguise to hide a car?
Absolutely. Yes, you can.
The realm of...
If we hide the car, I think we give ourselves a getaway vehicle.
If this
Yeah,
goes
alright,
any
let's,
way we suspect it might, I'd like to have a way to get out.
Let's keep an eye out for a good place to hide it.
You scan the outsides of the sites, eventually pick a location, and would you please, as everybody loads out, not too far from the ritual site, darting to distance, make for me a disguise check.
Can we give this enough time to earn a bonus?
Yes, we can.
And help out.
We
and
take
stuff?
all the time in the world.
Absolutely, you got you had the preparation. Basically, someone can assist Mandy to give him a bonus die, but that's what you are doing until people start to arrive at the site. So if anyone else wants to take any special actions, like scout out, like a really good hiding spot for you all, like a bolt hole or something, or if anyone wants to sort of get in and, I don't know.
Oh shit! I have natural world 50.
Oh, hell yeah. Stacks on.
I did not. Fuck.
That's pretty good.
Jesus.
Surprise.
Yeah. So I guess I should probably go looking for like good, or I can either assist in finding a good location for the car, or I can try and find a good location for us if we want to hide.
You've got a lot of insight into the ritual as well.
I don't know how much help that's gonna give. I suppose.
If you want to make a natural world check, what you could do is you could like, because you've got the ritual site and it's broad. Based on the natural world, you could like figure out where everything is going to be and figure yourselves out a vantage point.
Okay, I will
Alright.
do that. Is like, can I take someone with me for that? And like we do the split party in half, so like bonus dice
Sure.
all around.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So
I'll help
who's
Mr.
staying-
Jenkins then if Miss Walters, you want to
I'll
go
go
with the
with-
doctor.
Okay.
Miss Beasley
Smart.
decidedly does not want to be in the company of the doctor
I-
one-on-one ever again.
Mostly mine's I employed Mr. Jenkins, so
Yes.
I'm
And I have pretty
motivated
good-
to.
Spot hidden stealth, that sort of thing. So
Look, also the doctor does have a
Sense.
weird habit of chewing at raw esophagus, so
Yeah.
All right.
just that once.
Please roll bonus with a bonus die now. So add your bonus die to your disguise check, please. Would you, Mandy? Okay.
Nah.
Do you have 8 points of luck?
I do, and
Use
I
it.
want to keep them.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So
I got
you can't,
19, y'all.
you can't get the car close enough to the ritual site without it being spotted. You could push this roll, and that will mean that when the cultists arrive, if you failed, they
What's
are going
that?
to have a chance to spot it, like halfway through proceedings, and go on alert. Or you can just be like, okay, we can't have the car, and you can park it further away and hike.
I'd be inclined to forget about it. Look, I don't know if the car's going to really help us. If there's something coming out of the earth that's going to swallow, the city, is having a car really going to help us here?
Mr. Jenkins,
We
I'm
gotta
not
be honest with
concerned about
ourselves.
some mythical monster. I'm more concerned
We
about
know
the
you're
men.
not. All right, with all
women
due
with
respect, Miss
guns.
Beasley, we know you're not, but we are. All
There's
right?
also a-
You're stuck with that.
Yeah, there's also although there's also a chance that the cultists have to arrive in something. They're not all like walking from wherever
Yeah.
they are, so
That's true.
there will probably be vehicles
There'll
that
be
they've
another
come
vehicle.
in. It's going to be harder to hijack one, but there will be vehicles around potentially.
I'm fine with discarding the
Right.
car.
All right.
We discard the car.
Okay, you
Discard
discard
the
the car. Meanwhile, can you please make a natural world check for me?
I made one already and it failed, but I haven't rolled my bonus yet.
Please
so.
roll your bonus
Nice.
die.
Nice.
Hey,
Hard
Okay.
success.
25
Nice.
is a hard.
Bang
With
on.
a hard success, you are able to find basically the clearest area that you're thinking, they're going to need flat ground. But then you go, not just flat ground, they're going to need a good view of the night sky. They're going to, and you figure out the right kind of location within this sort of wider spread of land before you pick here. This is where they're going to come. The four of you can gather around, and as the sun starts to properly rise and the day begin, my understanding is you are going to hide here until enough people are bustling around that you can start to move freely.
Yeah, I think the idea, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, is hide here, essentially do some recon, see if there's, see if we can pick if and when certain things are being delivered. Because obviously, you said they need to set up the site. There's fucking obelisks and shit. There's probably other stuff we could try and kick over if we really wanted to. But as far as I'm concerned, it would be a recon, work out who's doing what, where things are going to be properly, and then keep an eye out for those relics arriving and just fuck around with that.
Sounds
Perfect.
reasonable.
So,
Agree.
with your hard success, I'm not going to ask you as a group to make sort of stealth rolls for just the earliest section of the day. Crouched and hidden in the foliage around, waiting restlessly. Eventually, you spot the first trucks start to arrive. People move through the landscape. They make several of the same, decisions that you made, Dr. Smythe, and they pick the area for the ritual that you knew they were going to pick. the person that you recognize directing proceedings as a woman named Louise Crosby. She is the person who came to speak to Ethel at the end of the sermon in that disastrous session where you broke into the church. She, wearing the full robes, begins to order people about, and unloading from a truck comes this enormous, 3-meter long stone obelisk with carvings all across it that takes like a bunch of cultists to carry it. It really is like setting up some kind of festival. People, they see the dark ritual in the woods and they don't know the weeks and the months of prep that go into these things.
Are they
Just
wearing
don't
their
appreciate
robes
the
as
event
they're
management
setting up?
logistics.
Yeah.
They just
Exactly. They're bringing in tools. They're bringing in supplies. They've got little they're in teams doing things. They make sure everyone's hydrated.
Are they robed up, or are they wearing like t-shirts and jeans at this point?
Most of them are robed up. Some of them, when they start doing very physical work, will literally
Pop the
take off
shirt
their
over,
robes
yeah.
for a bit. But the hoods are off. But you do immediately see not everyone appears to know everybody else.
Definitely takes
So
them.
you can.
I will absolutely point out to the group that Louise Crosby knows Ethel and knows me, because I spoke to her outside. I do not recall if she encountered Mandy, but she would not know Suzanne. So if we're in any way, shape, or form moving around her vicinity, Suzanne's going to need to take point on that, because that's the only face she won't recognize.
Anything I should know about her?
well,
The description of her, just for since you weren't there for that session, is that she is a similar size and disposition to Ethel. So
Sweet.
you're looking at a tank.
and a religious fanatic tank.
Yeah, fervent in her beliefs.
Dr. Smythe, how much of that laudanum do you have? Because I'm looking over there at that water barrel that they're refilling their canteens from. I'm pretty
This is
good sleight
absolutely
of hand. I think we
fantastic.
do a little.
All right.
They
I
get
do
her in their
not want to be
shit
like,
face.
I magically have enough laudanum for this. I do have pharmacy as a skill,
Rebuild
and I'm
it.
willing to roll that as like a luck check on how much I have.
I think this is rad. First, here's what we're going to do.
Good
We're
thing
going
about
to
getting
get everybody is going to need to make a check, and this is for the duration of the setup before things really kick off. How are you remaining hidden? You can make a stealth check if you just want to be hiding out away from everything. You can make a disguise check if you would like. You can make a fast talk check if you would like to sort of be concealing yourselves and stuff like that. That just means that you're getting through to the end.
Do we get a bonus for the outfits we've...
You got here early and you prepared. You will all get a bonus die.
Sweet.
If you want to be doing something as well, like, okay, I'm going to be at the site. Like, if somebody finds me, I pretend I'm just, I make my excuses and leave. You can have the bonus die. If you want to be doing something as well, you're not going to get the bonus die. Effectively, you're going to make a penalty die on the roll if you also want to get into the site and spike the water supply, or if you want to go through the trucks.
It wouldn't
or
just be a
get
separate
that-
roll for the spiking?
you would have to make a separate roll. It basically make one of these various stealth, concealment checks, and you can do it with a bonus die. If you would like to also take an action before sort of it gets towards the business end of things, you'll do it with a penalty die.
Okay.
So just a regular check.
Sure.
I want to be super clear that my disguise and fast talk are 5, and my stealth is 20, which means they're all base.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't think Smythe is like, Smythe scoped out the place and then is like, I am going to not be present in a way that is helpful, because if I am close, I will probably be seen.
I still want you to make a check, Dr. Smythe. And
course.
this is going to literally be like, did you have to are you out of range?
Yeah,
of
cool.
kind of any
Cool,
action,
cool.
or yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because I'm concerned about failing stealth and then being like, you're seen. And I'm like, that.
No,
Yeah.
I understand.
Hey, that guy.
But what did you want to do about the laudanum sitch? Do we want to do this
I'm
first?
not going to try and spike it. I don't want to risk
Andy?
it. I don't want to risk failing this, because my objective is mainly getting the artifact. I'm
Yeah.
just going to hide.
I'm just gonna keep my head down.
I'm not risking a flat roll.
No. Nah.
Do we want to have it to hand just in case we get an opportunity magically?
Yeah, if you can have it. Yeah.
We
Still
can
first.
figure out if you have laudanum, but you're not making the attempt at this stage.
Well, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, we still have to luck ourselves into
Dr.
whether or not we've got enough.
Yep.
That is a fail. Would you like to luck or push that?
I can. I do not wish to push it, and I do not have enough luck.
Okay, perfect. So, Mandy,
I'm good.
Ethel?
Regular success. Oh, 03 from Ethel. Is that an extreme?
And 05 from Beasley. Jesus Christ.
That's an
Fantastic.
extreme.
3 and 05, couple of extremes.
Okay. So, Dr. Smythe, as you mentioned, you deliberately are taking a sort of stepped back approach. And what this is going to mean functionally is that you're going to have to be called when the action comes. Like, you're like properly back into the woods at this stage. Hello. The other three of you managed to succeed your roles, and over the course of the day, by a combination of like keeping an eye out and, you know, darting away to different areas when you need to stay hidden from approaching cultists, and to a certain extent using your disguises and your like the tools that you have prepared for to just kind of remain hidden. You watch as slowly, miraculously, this festival begins to take shape, and bit by bit by bit by bit, more and more cultists arrive. The setup becomes more expansive. They start to do all kinds of things like lay out chains, set up these like freestanding torches. Most critically, around the obelisk in the middle, they start to... Sorry?
Is there a band?
Okay.
They bring in drums and they station them around the side. Like they're properly... It's a setup, yeah.
It's just midsummer. It's fine.
They, around the obelisk, collect a bunch of what looks like kindling, firewood, like this. They build up a bonfire setup. As it gets towards the afternoon, the area becomes busier and busier, but you're all safe, you're all well positioned, and at about 4:30, the last set of trucks come down and they unload it, and then they begin to move the trucks away to like a sort of parking lot makeshift setup where they're keeping the cars for the time being. And as they're unpacking the goods, you will see Louise Crosby very reverently take out from a crate that has been stuffed with hay to keep it safe, 2 small wrapped packages. One is quite large, the other is quite small. She takes the small wrap package and she goes and she puts it basically where there's like a makeshift desk under a shade cloth that's been set up where everyone's sitting, talking, standing, going through things. She takes the larger one and she walks it towards the obelisk, and then with the help of a crate, she steps up, takes off the cloth to reveal this statuette of a strange squid-like creature, kind of glistening green and dull brown, and she places it on the top at where the bonfire will sort of peak around it, in the hottest part of where the rising heat will go. She stands down, nods, picks up the crate and walks away. They continue to set up. One of the statues is in the middle of the bonfire. One is over on that desk. There's your targets. What's the plan?
So presume there's more people
Pretty
around the
dusted.
desk one, and the other one's kind of in the
it's
middle of
pretty
everything.
actively watched. You guys are in a position where you can sort of stand and plan, but to get any like to act, to get closer, you're gonna have to make a roll. If you want to say like close the distance to the center and like get up and try and do something. I will also remind you that Dr. Smythe has had to set up a bit further back. So one of you is going to have to go and get him when you want to, if you want to sort of commit to a larger series of actions.
Sure.
Well, eventually they're going to find out that there's no hostages.
I think
But
it's
we
only
want to
gonna
get
get harder.
we want to get the relics out of the
We
way.
have like 6 hours before they work that out, so I think we're okay.
Yeah.
It's still
Like,
only
they
going to
won't
get
know
harder
till
from
10.
here, right? Like, we don't expect people to leave.
No, it looks like people are pretty those that are here are setting up. In fact, some of the people whose jobs are done have also changed. If they were doing very like manual labor, they'll have taken off the clothes that they were doing the work on and put on their robes properly, and are now like sitting and are
Having an orange slice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon I can get the small one by itself. That seems easy enough to walk past and just grab it on my way through. And then
with your robes on,
and then
yeah.
I'll just slip into and they won't be able to identify me. I think the big one's the tough one. I think we need a distraction. So it seems like a pretty clear. Someone makes a massive distraction, the other two grab it, and then we get both in the same span. We get the fuck out. We grab a car, or maybe someone goes and gets a car preemptively, so we've got to get away. There's a few things we can do.
I was gonna say, not that I have good drive auto, not that I'm directly nearby, but I can't think of a better distraction than driving a car through the middle of their little encampment.
And then that's your getaway and your distraction.
So hey, it's good we're thinking about the statues. What's the hostage situation? I mean,
Well,
we're waiting to see where the oldest arrives and not.
Nope.
I mean, if we get out
go with
early,
that, because
we
if we
gave-
get the
we
artifacts, we
gave,
can go
um,
back
We don't give
to
a shit
the
about.
hostages.
We're done. Hostages are done.
Well,
we gave Otis a gun.
yeah.
Otis is good.
Levi.
No, we gave Diaz a gun.
From what I
Diaz
heard.
is dealing with Otis.
Okay, all right. So I mean, not hostages, but sacrifices, right? I mean, even if we take the statues, if they got enough sacrifices here, we're still in trouble, right?
No. My understanding of
It's
the
the
ritual
relics.
is like the statues are the things that make the ritual like even viable. The sacrifices
okay.
are what makes the thing pop up and not munch their fucking faces off. So without like they can still do sacrifices, but without the ritual or without the relics, the ritual is like
Toothless.
just not. It's gonna be bad.
So just to be clear, Mandy, so there's
Please
all the
be clear.
sacrifices that were not members of the cult were being kept at that gas station.
Yeah.
Drawing
Yeah.
13 willing sacrifices from their numbers, they can do it, but it's difficult, and it's not the ideal sacrifices. It's not what they wanted.
Okay.
So it's going to, muddy the magic somewhat.
Well, then
Combo
great.
that with the missing artifacts, their chances drop to very, very low. They might still go for it, but
Saying
at that
it's a
stage,
chance.
it's probably just a write-off for them. If you drive a car through their ritual stuff, so they have to set everything up again, and there's big tire marks in the middle of the thing,
Yeah.
probably doesn't help.
Are they
And do we
carrying
know-
weapons? Because we're like,
you see that there are a few people who have like they're not all armed. No, Louise Crosby has like a cudgel that she sort of carries at all times because she is Louise. There's a couple of them who have tools, like they would grab like the hammer they were using to drive in this, and
There's
one of them
almost
grabs like
certainly ritual daggers.
but they don't have a
somewhere.
bunch of like.
you're not seeing
Machine
seeing
guns.
a bunch of weaponry. No.
I think.
Doesn't mean they don't have them. We just don't see them.
Yeah. I would suggest rather than driving the car straight through, whoever gets out to the vehicles tries to like explode one or something and then get another one ready to go. Like I think we want people to leave the site rather than looking around in a. Like I think as long as we can keep this inconspicuous, we should, right? Just create a distraction outside of the frame. A couple grab that obvious one. I'll grab the small one. We then head to a car, get out. Bada bing, bada boom.
And one last question: Does Smythe know what the window is? When are the stars going to be not right? Is it the whole night or?
I would know. I
gotta play
believe.
keep away.
Essentially, they got to do it tonight, or they lose their opportunity. But
They
it
got
like
the whole night. Not like it-
well, sacrifices were 10 p.m. So from 10 p.m. onwards, they were going to be doing their shit, which is why we've got time to do this right now and get out before they even start their ritual.
The duration of the several-hour-long spell will have to be between about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. the following morning.
Oh, great! That's not a big window at all.
I have pretty good stealth and sleight of hand, so
Same.
I'm happy to collect the other relic, and obviously I'm comfortable defending myself if I get caught. So I think I'm the obvious choice to scoop up the other relic.
Hey, one more pitch. If it's a 4-hour window, they got to keep the spell up for that 4 hours. We wait till they're halfway through, and they got
No,
a nice chance of getting it
absolutely
started.
not. No.
I don't think we want them to start this at all.
Oh, okay, all right.
See,
all
out
right,
of
all right.
character, I'd love that. Can we
Yeah.
justify that in any
Yeah.
way?
Yeah,
Well,
no.
I'll just that would mean that you wait till they would understand that the hostages are missing,
So they would start-
presumably.
I mean-
Also, they
Oh,
would have lit
yeah,
the
I forgot
bonfire.
about that.
So now you're not stealing the artifact from the top of the
saying they're like,
flames while
"Boy,
there's
we
still
made this a
around."
lot
actual
harder for
fire.
And
ourselves.
they
huh?
have already started to successfully cast the ritual, so we are already in the realm of like deep thing from beyond the earth breaking through as we're trying to stop this. No, thank you. Like in character, hell yeah. Sorry, out of character, hell yeah. In character, also hell yeah, but also
Can't justify it.
can't justify it.
Do we want to
Tell me how you really feel.
Do we want to divvy up tasks and just let everyone, let's trust
Get amongst
everyone's
it?
creativity and skill checks to accomplish goals? I'll go for the
And
small one. Ethel goes for the big one. Mandy
one?
and Smythe, you want to be on distraction and getaway? Does that work?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. No
am-
further planning needed. Let's figure it out on the
I'm all
fly.
good. Who's distracting? What are you going to distract? Yeah.
Did we get do we have grenades? I forget.
You did
Oh
not
no,
have grenades.
no grenades. All right.
I
No
am
grenades.
I am so excited about this. I just want to say, I really like Angel's Thirst as a scenario. It's really, really cool. One of the great things about it is that there are so many different ways that this final ritual can go. If the Seaman was still in play, you know, you have this added threat of like there are people going to be coming at a certain point that are going to start shooting things. You could have Lombardo show up. You can have all
Ujima?
kinds of interesting things. You can get Levi Diaz to come in with a bunch of his friends and contacts. You can
We might have Brooker on the
gangsters,
way.
police. You can do it one of a million ways, and out of everything, still, I love this heist style
Of course.
sneak in, get it done the most.
Wait.
This is great.
It sounds like
So-
a heck of a
And
scenario,
Lombardo
Jamie.
might still
can
show
I,
up.
Where can I get such a book where this
Well,
scenario is
Cults of
contained?
Cthulhu, one more time, Chaosium.com, or from your friendly local games.
Chaosium.com? And from a friendly local game store?
Exactly. Great.
I love all of this, but let's actually do the scenario so it's interesting and we can sell it afterwards.
Exactly. All right, let's do it. Let's get it.
I'm going to be on Getaway because I have no other skills, and I don't even have that, but I can drive a car-ish.
I have 60 drive order. That seems like
Yeah,
something
I
that's
have
good.
no skills. I cannot do it unless I put Laudanum in
Genuinely,
shit.
that could be the distraction is dose the fuckers.
I need to
just
get close
drop the
enough.
Shit out of them.
I cannot sneak.
Natural world. I don't know.
I mean, can you show up and be friendly? Like you already talked to him.
Yeah, that's. I would
that's
need
too
fast
risky.
talk to explain why I'm there. Don't have that. Like, I mean,
You preset with them when you
did.
were talking to them. I want to get interested. I'd be happy for you
Jumping
to
character as yourself, yeah.
just
yeah.
being
Just be
creepy.
just be
yourself.
hi. You remember me? I'm Dr.
Just
Sp-
be
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm here. I'm here for the ritual.
I brought my
I'm
own
really
robes. I hope that's okay.
So I would let you.
okay,
you could do-
sure.
Remember, not everybody knows everybody, and people would know you in passing as talking. Like people from the church would have seen you talking quite friendly to people at the church. So people who did recognize you, unless like as long as you keep out of Louise's actual eyesight, because obviously that's not what was intended. But like people who recognized you would recognize you in the context of having a good chat.
And like, there's something about your demeanor that makes me think you'll fit in pretty well.
with all the cultists.
Whatever makes you say that, Mr. Jenkins.
I'm going to go to the car.
All right, very well. I have been convinced. Let's go. Let's go in as Dr. Smythe. No disguise is
Well,
necessary.
to be clear, I'm just saying you won't be doing fast talk. You'll be doing charm or persuade. Would be the
Or a cult.
Yes.
A cult?
Not a cult. Not in this situation. No.
Cool. Well, my charm is 15 and my persuade is 10.
Well, you might be
that's
better.
better.
You might be better going for the mechanical repair check and trying to blow up a car then. So
You could maybe natural world get a bear. Bring in a big moose. What do they
Oh
have
my
in
god,
Los
that'd be
Angeles?
fucking brilliant. I'm pretty sure I'd need an
Credit-
extreme success for that.
Credit rating to go, oh, I'm a big hotshot rich doctor and I'm going to lend you some credibility to your cult here. Credit rating.
that's actually not a terrible thing. It's part of what they do. It would be a hard check, but I'd be happy for credit rating.
Most useful skill in the game.
say get amongst it.
Big decision.
And worst case, start running.
I'm relatively quick.
There we go. That's plan B.
I still think an explosion's going to cause more distraction, but
Explosion it
agree.
is then.
I
agree.
I'm happy to try. I have no skills in explosion either. The best thing I can do is drive a car.
All right. Well, that might work too then. So,
You can always just start yelling
yep.
and then vanish.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Refuse to elaborate.
What is your methodologies? The two stealthers, the two grabbers. What is your plan?
I'm gonna wait until a distraction.
And once it happens, what are you gonna do?
Walk straight up, grab it while no one's looking, and walk straight out.
Ethel?
I'm gonna keep to the edges because I am recognizable. Wearing the Coulter's robe with the hood pulled down just in case, can't hurt. And my strategy is definitely wait until the distraction, and then I've got to go fast because I'm getting it from. Is this the one that's on the pyre?
It's the one that's on.
You got the
Yeah.
tougher one.
Quite high up. It's a 3-meter tall obelisk, and then it's placed there. So basically, jump or climb, or you're going to have to get a little box.
Climb.
Okay.
I will climb to it. And this is speed, and I will have my bat with me, and basically I am expecting trouble. I will probably wait until I see that Suzanne has got hers and looks like she's on the move first.
I'll probably head towards you after I've gotten mine as well, so
yeah,
we can
just
get
in
out
case there's
together,
assistance.
and also I can help you. If I'm undetected, I'll help you with yours.
Yeah, and just to evaluate how that's going will probably inform how quickly and messily I have to deal with the pyre relic.
So, Mandy, you turn back and you head towards Dr. Smythe. Dr. Smythe, you had something to say.
Yes. I have pharmacy. Pharmacy is kind of just an extended form of chemistry.
I could see that argument.
Do you have a 50 in it?
Yep.
Because that gives you 10 points in chemistry.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Actually,
like there's a mechanic for that. There's also
great.
demolition's
Yep.
the skill. Just flying.
No, I'm not necessarily. Yeah. I also have 50 in biology, so yay for sciences.
Does that give you an extra 10 points in science?
No, I doubt it.
I
I
think
think
But,
it's the first one. Actually,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think so.
essentially, I'm wondering whether I can use my skills with mixing of things to mix a few things that are going to make a very loud sound, a very bad smell, and a lot of smoke. Not necessarily an
sounds
explosion, but like not to
Just something
destroy
gross.
things, but to just make a lot of a flashbang, if you will.
Yep.
As opposed to going for destruction, I'm going for distraction.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. If you were trying to do something that is, like, for want of a better word, pharmaceutical, something that is trying to create a bunch of smoke, create a bunch of sort of like disaster, I would take a hard pharmacy, or I would take a chemistry roll, which you have 10 in by default because
Yeah.
you've got over 50.
I mean, a hard pharmacy is 25, which is higher than my would-be
Yep.
chemistry. So let's give that a roll. Let's see what
Now,
happens.
just quick. The other thing is you are going to need supplies to do this. So I will be asking for a luck check, and this is going to be combined by what you're able to find at the car and the what you brought with you.
Okay. I don't have a lot of luck, so let's see what I got to work with. Not a lot.
Not a lot. Unfortunately, you just don't
I got
have the
chewing gum.
scope of supplies to be able to create like a full sort of setup for this.
So that means I can't attempt it?
Yeah, I'm afraid you're
That's cool.
you're gonna have to you don't have the tools to make this kind of equipment. You could try and salvage something from the cars, head over there and like take things apart with mechanical repair. But at that point, you could also be using mechanical repair to try and sort of like destroy shit. So, Mandy, you head back. You rejoin with Dr. Smythe. You explain the plan, and the two of you head over to the cars at the side of the ritual. It's a little bit further out. They don't want, if somebody needs to go over to their car to get, a change of clothes or a water bottle, they don't want to get the, they want.
Sorry, are we both headed? Because I was going to stay with the car and get it ready to drive.
I thought I was going to do that because I got the 60 drive order. Brigitte's gonna get ready to drive.
Wait, no, I thought you were both heading over to the car to where the cars that the cultists have are.
I can't do anything except think and fix people.
Yep.
So exploding a car, sneaking around, punching someone, I can't do any of that. So for me, I'm better, like, I can try, for sure.
You can stay way back where your guy's car is, out of the action if you would like. You're not going to have to make a stealth check to go over to where the cultists' cars are because they're a little bit to the side, is the point. So you're not going to get caught going over there.
All right. Well, if it helps that both of us do it, then I'd prefer
You don't
both.
have to. You can stay over at the car if you would like. It's completely up to you. It's just basically you could stay back where your car is, and that's like you have a getaway sort of ready, prepped to go, or you could sort of be standing by to help Mandy because there's also getaway cars there that you could grab.
Here's the thing. Our car is way out of the way. What if I'm in our car, ready to drive, and Dr. Smythe, you're like halfway between?
What
and then something
distraction
goes down,
is
you come
happening?
down.
We don't have
we need a distraction.
One of us needs to make a distraction, and
true.
It ain't me because I don't have things that go bang.
Fantastic. You're at the getaway car. I'm at the distraction.
You could just open fire, just like bang, bang, bang out in the woods. Right?
That's what I was thinking.
We have a
I could actually. Oh, we
duffel
do.
bag around. That's also not necessarily. You're not going for skill there. You're just going for pull the trigger a few times, and then that order.
It's true.
It'll
Not
get them on
against that.
alert, but hopefully they're
That's
looking at the outside.
totally fine. You can go for that if you'd like.
I think we should just start shooting up their cars, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
The gunshot and the glass breaking, that should be enough. So maybe I'll do that and then run for our car and hope that it's well hidden enough or far away enough. And then we get ready for a getaway and a drive through.
And then once we get the stuff,
pick up,
we pretend
pick
we're
up
all
these
rushing
two.
to join the fray and get the fuck out.
Look, it's not a well thought out plan, but it's a plan. It's
pretty good
better
to
than
know.
nothing.
Give me a gun.
Yep.
Get the car ready.
Alrighty.
Mandy, you
me
get the
luck.
car. You get it ready.
I will head over to the vehicles.
Stealth roll needed, as I mentioned. You arrive. Occasionally, people are coming in, but crouch in the bushes. You're totally fine.
Any bonus for the costuming?
Always.
Nothing needed at this stage. Like but yeah, there will be bonuses for costuming if you attempt to make anything like a stealth roll or a disguise roll.
Oh, sorry. I thought you asked for a stealth roll. Yeah. Okay.
No.
There was a suggestion from someone in chat about something I would have in my bag.
Yes.
I would like to know if that's allowed because I have an idea.
Because that would be fun.
Okay. Boric acid. Oh my.
Yeah.
You tell you what, you don't have enough of this substance to do like a massive bomb that's going to distract everybody, but you can have a bit of it. Yeah.
Great. I want to pack it in my shotgun.
Fantastic. Okay.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
I suppose. I mean, at some point, you're just shoving it down the barrel, right?
Yep. It's either going
Effectively
to work or it
rendered
isn't.
a functional weapon
Nice.
useless.
Yeah, I'm a shoving the shotgun, and then I am going to wait until there is either not that many people around, like people have got stuff, and then heading back or what have you. I want to try and time it so that like there are people within decent earshot, but aren't like immediate distance. That said, whatever happens, happens. And then I'm going to point the shotgun at any fuel tanks I can see, just anything that might give a chance to go boom. I'm not holding out much hope. I just want to make a lot of noise, and I'm on fire.
Okay, so Fortunately, here's the thing. You're firing a shotgun. You're going to make noise. So it's successful immediately. Now, the various extra bits, shooting a gas tank just the right way, having this powder work. I actually don't know how the powder works. I also don't know how guns work really, but I don't think that loading a shotgun with powder. That said, make a firearms check. Let's go for this.
It's a rifle shotgun, yeah?
Rifle shotgun, that's the one.
Amazing. No, not a fumble though.
Okay.
But close.
So you fire a shot and there is an enormous boom.
Wait, can I push it for the possibility of the gun hurting me?
Sure.
I'm willing to take some
Yes.
damage for this. Sure, let's do it.
But
You've already got the
it's
4, so there's 2 results it could be
15.
if you reroll the
Yeah.
No,
20%.
It's
But,
a 0 or a 1
that's-
will be a
Reroll.
success.
This is a push, not a bonus.
Oh, right. Sorry, I misunderstood.
So it'd be a reroll.
I don't like your odds.
No, I don't either. But is this higher odds of it killing me? Who knows?
Oh, no.
Amazing.
Okay.
Surprising no one.
Enormous boom. Here's what happens. First
The shotgun
of all,
explodes.
Distraction.
Bullets
Yes.
slam into the car. You hear some broken windows. No gas tanks go off, but this boom is going to achieve the distraction. You shoved chemicals down into a gun. The gun breaks and chemicals fly everywhere. Do you want to make a constitution check as this irritant hits you and you immediately start
Sure.
coughing and spluttering?
I'm fine.
Okay. You just
Almost a hard success. I don't know if I need one, but
just take a single point of damage as you like sort of stagger. You drop the gun, but you don't need. That's fine. The noise is enormous. One of the guys who was driving close skids and almost crashes his car. Mandy, you hear the shotgun go off, and you can rev the engine on the getaway vehicle. Meanwhile, the two of you, Dr. Smythe, has given
Let's
the
go.
signal.
is anyone like coming towards me and within earshot?
Yeah. Well, the cultists are going to rush over to investigate the noise. Mandy's coming towards you. Yeah.
In that case, resolve things and we'll deal with it on the getaway thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So, Dave, you're going first.
Going to try and walk up to it.
All right. You head down, and as everyone is distracted, you head straight forward. This is basically you trying to stay unnoticed. You're not like sneaking stealth as in like close to the ground, but you are trying to just not be seen. Make a stealth check. You are disguised. Take a bonus die. There was a distraction. Take an additional bonus die.
Boosh. Love to hear it.
Good.
Bad.
Okay.
Bad.
There we go.
Okay. Still bad.
7 points.
With
8
7
points.
points of luck,
8
you
points.
walk straight up to the table. Everyone is like spun around and they can hear the shot. You can see Louise, her hand drifting towards this cudgel at her side. And she stares over towards the far clearing. What was that? You ignore it. You walk forward. You pick up the little bundle. You can feel it in your hands. It's kind of cold. Do you do anything else? Or do you
I
just
leave.
turn?
Well, you're starting to come towards me, right?
Yeah. I
Because
head
as soon
towards-
as
I
I
head
saw
towards
that you're
Walters.
getting towards the table, like it'd probably be staggered. As soon as I see that you're getting towards the table unnoticed, I'm going to attempt the same with the bonfire
Fantastic.
because I got it.
Grab it, you turn, and just as you go to sort of leave, you can see all of the cultists spin as out of the trees come sprinting. You said you wanted to do speed and not stealth?
No, I'm going to try stealth first because
Yeah, fine, yeah.
I was if Suzanne
If you get
was
a
spotted,
couple
I would have had to have
bonuses,
gone speed.
Yep.
But Suzanne seems to be okay at this point, so I'm going to try and stealth my way.
You are going to make a stealth check. Now, for your case, you're making a stealth check. There's been a distraction. You can have a bonus die. You are in disguise. You are also going into the middle of a clearing, and you are trying to climb up a giant
Just the
pole.
one,
So
I'm guessing.
just one bonus die.
Wouldn't it just make it hard, but keep the bonuses?
That's a good point. Let's go for that.
Yeah.
That seems worse. Oh, that's not.
That's fine. That's already likable.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. So
What's
I can
up?
make that.
I request
1 point.
2 points of with a 1 point or 2 points.
1 or 2. Yeah.
2 points.
2 points of luck. Okay.
Taking it.
You cross over into the center, dart forward, scramble up. It's not like a climb, really. You just sort of get
Yeah.
one up arm around to kind of grab the ledge. grab the thing, slide it off, drop down, and the two of you lock eyes. You don't have to sprint across at
Let's
this
leave.
stage. Yep.
Yep.
The two
Just
of
gonna
you
wrap my robes around it and
Yeah. The two of you spin around and you
Waddle
dart
away.
away. A flood of people are now heading towards the car park. You cough and splutter for a second, Dr. Stein. You see everyone's heading towards you. Mandy, you're driving. You just start spinning.
Yeah.
What's your plan?
Well, yeah, I think the doctor's in the most danger, so let's pick him up first. Right.
Okay.
I'd say we're going in the opposite direction with the assumption that we'll circle.
Great.
Yeah.
So car comes spinning towards you. What's your immediate action, Dr. Smith?
My immediate action to get in the car
Okay.
is to wrench open the door and probably very loudly proclaim, the servants of the Deep One see you and despise you for what you are doing. The sea will never be yours to claim, and I will get back in the car.
Excellent. You
Fucking
shout
sweet.
out, and your words ring across the clearing. Like you two can both hear from the other area because there's people are
The
confused.
deep ones are here. Run.
And then chaos starts to properly take over. The cultists scatter.
I don't know how much of this is like, if I wanted to try and have an effect with my words, could I like psychology or intimidate or something?
Intimidate, absolutely.
Okay, let's intimidate.
Colt?
35.
No, yeah, fantastic. Okay,
Oh,
so
your
here's
internet's really good.
Yeah, because I'm like
backpedaled the
I'm very
distraction.
weird.
Yeah,
the
oh, yeah.
idea is like I'm not intimidating intentionally, but like I lick scalpels to freak people out.
Just kind of a fucked up little guy.
Well, fucked up tall guy. He's quite tall.
The little is
guy.
a sense of
Skinny, I assume.
yeah.
I am absolutely an Elden Ring NPC. Yes. Finish all of my sentences with
people dart around. Your words give them pause, and it gives Mandy enough time to swing the car around and for you to get there properly. Mandy, can you please make for me a drive auto test? And because of this intimidate check that succeeded, you can have a bonus die.
Nice.
I don't want it.
I do.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
That's two for next. Well, I mean, you get
If
the
it's an
bonus
extreme,
anyway.
does his beard grow further?
100%.
He pulls up, he's got a
Generally,
mustache and-
Oh,
like,
oops. Oh, you want to take the 9 or you take the 1? Doesn't matter. Didn't get a 0.
Okay. Would you like to spend 2 points of luck to make it an extreme?
So get a little something.
So currently, here's the situation. That went extraordinarily well. You
It
have
did.
the 2 artifacts,
It did, yes.
and you're now in the car. Here's the thing: they are going to load up into cars, and they are going to chase you.
I don't want that.
Oh, yeah.
We
now
probably should
going
have shut
to
off
be-
their cars.
So,
Yes, in that case, if the extreme's going to help me get away, that's what I'll do.
okay, you go you go spinning around. Great bootlegger turn, and you go whipping through the trees.
Handbrake donut.
Here's the
Let's go.
question. Are you going to stop and are you going to pick up the other 2? That is going to slow you down and give them more time to catch up? Or are you going to try and sort of let them vanish and try and fend for themselves?
That's a good question. My intention is to pick them up.
All right. That's
But
all that
perhaps
matters. Because
maybe I'll. Actually,
driving the car.
I'd like to like swing around the ritual site and see if I can spot them and see if they're in trouble. If they haven't been spotted yet, then I'm not going to go pick them up. But if it looks
yeah.
like they're in trouble, then I'll go rescue them. But I don't
with
know
an
where they're
extreme
at right
success,
now.
you can absolutely have that choice. You take sort of a wide loop and then begin weaving through the trees. You can see that they appear to be gone and that no one is heading like chasing after them. Everybody's just heading out away.
Fantastic. In that case, I'm going to try to lose the chasers and head for the agreed upon rendezvous point that we completely agreed upon and discussed beforehand, because that's what you do when you're going into
Well,
these
that's
situations.
the big thing. You're definitely leaving these 2 to fend for themselves. There's no rendezvous point, and you are gonna be chased by a bunch of people. So
Okay.
you're now like get to the highway and leave. You can pick them up and bring them with you, or you can drive yourself.
Yeah. No, I've got to lose them.
There is a car, because we had a couple of cars. Pretty sure there's a car at the petrol station. It's a bit of a hike,
There's
but
one
we
at
know
the-
that that's
where we
nearby.
slept.
You've got options. You go tearing away at top speed, Mandy, vanishing off. the two of you hear Mandy's car spin away. You hear
We got
the
away
sounds
clean?
of the. Pardon me.
We got away clean. There's no
You got away
sense
clean. You hear
in
the
drawing
cultists
attention
go.
to us.
What are the two of you doing immediately after this? What's your two's plan?
Which two are you referring to?
Those of you that have the idol, Miss Beasley and Ethel.
The thieving thieves melt into the woods and hearing Mandy tear rubber. Look at Suzanne. Gas station.
Let's do it. If you wouldn't mind, may I carry the second idol?
I mean, sure, it's big though. It's not a little. It's not a little. It's not little. I mean, it's pretty heavy, but sure. That's what you want, Miss Beasley.
Appreciate it. I will carry them, and we'll make our way towards the gas station.
The two of you go slamming through the woods, making your way off. I am going to need from the two, and this is you because the site is on full alert now. They're going to realize that everything is gone. They will know that people grabbed the idols. I'm going to need one last stealth check from the two of you, and you can both take a bonus die.
From us?
Yeah.
You got
This
it.
is whether they chase you to the gas station or not.
Oh, come on.
Ah,
come on.
that's confirmed.
50
Glad
is
I
not.
grabbed the idols.
So,
A double fumble with a bonus die?
I'll just say it.
is that a double fumble?
Yeah,
with
it's a double
bonus?
fumble.
No,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely
Ethel.
is.
It's Ethel's bonus die.
That was my bonus die. That was me.
Ethel got no 6. Suzanne.
Here's the deal from the two of you, just quickly,
But-
the current state of
50.
things. You grab the idols and you get away and you make it pretty clear. What they will do now is they'll say, so not everyone got into the car. There were others here. They took the idols, scan out and find them. They will pick up your trail and they're going to start long-term following you. So it will go into like a sort of secondary chase,
Do
basically.
you have like 15 points of luck to burn that down to a success?
Math. I do have 15. I thought in my head it was 25. You're right. I'm gonna burn it.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, we're getting
Because
out.
that way they assume that we took the idols because we're the ones booking it.
Very nice.
and-
I did
well,
misread
even
that
if
at
they-
first as well. I thought that was a double fumble.
No, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
I was
your
excited,
role
yeah.
says Suzanne Beasley, Ethel Walters, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it is extremely confusing.
Yeah.
Well, with that, the two of you melt into the woods, and you are home
Yeah,
free
click for one person's bonus.
with the idols in check as
Until
we
we get
jump
to the gas
across
station, have
to
to figure
the
out.
road. You get a couple of seconds, maybe a minute or two, before you have any evidence of the chase. Do the two of you share any words, or is it just kind of silent tension as you drive along at top speed?
I'm gonna need some quiet here. I haven't driven this fast in a while. So if everyone just stays quiet for a bit, I think that's going to help me concentrate and limit the number of distractions that happen in the car, because that's the leading cause of car crashes is distractions in the cabin. So I hope you don't mind, Dr. Smythe, if you'd stay a little bit quiet. I think I'm going to need my whole concentration on the road here, but because they could probably get in on us. So it's just a little bit of quiet would be. Thank you.
Dr. Smythe, perfect silence.
You need to calm down. And then just like relaxes into the back seat and just
Okay.
mind wanders off.
You basically tear out at top speed across the.
I would like to try and assist keeping young Mandy calm.
Yeah, perfect.
That's my
perfect. As you go spinning out, the other cultists are going to dive into their cars and they are going to attempt to chase you. So the logical thing here is to begin a chase, a vehicle chase, which is always
Vehicles!
a little
Always
bit
goes
of
super
fun. But
Particular.
there is one factor which could completely change things. Last session, Mandy, you put together a letter and you had it sent to your one friend, Detective.
I remember it well.
And you really made it forceful. Brooker, hard-boiled as he is, had a look at things, tore into the information that he had about the site and about the disappearances, and most critically, he is going to find that the sheriff, his immediate superior, has mysteriously locked down that area. And that is going to be enough corroborating evidence for him to go and investigate.
Yeah.
Here is what I would like you to do, Mandy, while I bring up the chase rules for if this all fails. There is the possibility that when Detective Brooker gets there, you arrive to find like an argument between like 6 cop cars, and that is going to effectively kill any chance that the cult have of pursuing without completely bursting open every part of the ritual and their operations and destroying the capacity to act.
Fantastic.
So the question is, I think you and Brooker were at some point cops together. I want you to make a credit rating check here. What's your credit rating skill before you make it?
25.
Oh, great. Does Brooker,
25% chance, 1 in 4.
your association with him, through him, have the capacity to sort of like leverage and create enough of a disturbance?
I mean,
You got luck.
17 points.
Roll low.
Yeah, low
I'm
numbers.
trying
are
to think
good.
if credit rating is the best skill if I can argue something else, but everything
have
I
a
argue
think.
has lower than my credit rating. Because I wasn't playing on our relationship, because our relationship went bad, you see? Our relationship went sour because we realized that we weren't, on the same side.
Not the turns of
But
tables.
I was trying to appeal to his sense of what's right and wrong, not because I say what's right.
There's
and
not a
wrong,
clear
but,
one here because you made a persuade check to him last time. What I was thinking is, I'm thinking back to the work that you guys did together.
Right.
And like the
Yeah.
What about
professional
law?
integrity.
What about law?
It's
If you
about
just
it's about how good I am. So yeah, maybe law or education.
Oh, yeah, that works perfectly fine. Yeah. Law's great.
Or education.
I think law in this case. Let's go with law.
All right, we'll go for law. All right, have I done enough groundwork to get him on
you got
side?
precedent.
Beautiful.
Beard grows an inch.
I mean, there's 5 points to make it an extreme if you want to like real fucking make that a thing.
I'm gonna need all these points to get out of here alive, I suspect.
I don't think you will because
Oh, this is crushing the chase. We're done.
this is
we're out.
pretty much
We got an
it.
extreme on the
the
drive, and
cop cars roll
then
in.
all your
Yeah.
boys are here.
Still concerned.
Yeah, fair enough.
Would you like to spend to get this?
All right, go on then.
Then the cop cars can pick us
Stream.
up.
Compared compared to the first heist at the church, which went
Actually.
extraordinarily bad.
Watertight case.
This one has gone fantastically well.
It's true.
With an extreme success on the drive, you get out, you peel along the road, and you go tearing along. And it was, I think here, Mandy, you doing it by the book. The thing that, you always accused Brooker of being too attached to that allows you to convince him. You made your case airtight. He pulled in a couple of officers, and as you go tearing around the road, just as you start to see the cars of the cultists like kicking up dust in the background, you come to a collection of like 7 police cruisers, and there is a loud discussion going about between a series of cops. They see you speeding along the road well past the speed limit and are going to ask, they motion for you to stop. You will see Brooker, who waves a hand, walks towards you, and assuming that you stop and don't try to barge through them.
What seems to be the problem, officer?
Yeah, and then just like from the back seat in the window. Good evening.
Perfect. The cultists don't try to assault a group of police. They turn back to seek support,
Cowards.
and they won't have long to plan before news comes from the Lombardo camp that there is a bunch of gangsters that are now heading out towards the ritual site. Things go terribly wrong. Otis never arrives with the the sacrifices. The 2 ritual idols are taken. The police know about the event. The
good
gangsters
police know about
the event. The deep ones, who are the muscle of the cult, are suddenly vanished. Systematically taking out every element individually of this ritual, I think that the only logical thing is that in what is almost an anticlimax, it doesn't happen. They scatter.
Oh, is this the first time in like Call of Cthulhu history that we just stopped a ritual? Like that never happens. You never get to be like, you know what? We're just fucking over. Go home.
We didn't even kill all of them either. Like it
No,
just,
no.
I don't see how they possibly
took all
can.
their
Like they
toys.
have all these components. You got the
took out all the
gangsters
components.
alerted about them without the gangsters having, because the bad stuff can happen to the gangsters. You got the police alerted to them. You
Took the
you've
idols.
got both the idols. You melt away. You've got the sacrifices.
Out alone.
People.
I don't like
Exactly.
it. I don't like it.
And
It's-
I think they're up to something.
I
Never
think this
goes
is
well.
funny. I think we just finally did a good job.
Did a good job.
That's not like us.
I know.
I don't like this.
We just
full on
did a good
feeling
job.
able to fade away into the background. So here's the deal. The Society of the Angelic Ones, their plans are foiled. They are forced to evaporate this idea, and with the Deep Ones gone, they are set back significantly. Now, the cult is not destroyed. They are still around. They will endure. But their internal problems, the issues that is happening between Elise and Wilma, her mother, some of the other backgrounds that can occur in the scenario may lead eventually to problems for them. So whatever plans they had, they are at least on hold for now. Miss Beasley, you recover both of the idols. I assume that you intend to return them to Lombardo.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be very pleased with these. Now, he originally sourced these idols for the cults before all of this drama between the two groups started. And as a show of force and revenge, he keeps the idol, the larger one, on his desk for good, as a motion of like vengeance. And, you know, in terms of getting things locked up and hiding them away, having one in the hands of a dangerous gangster for many, many years is not a bad thing. Miss Walters, you're a little hurt. What do you think? What do you think the next few years are going to look like for you in terms of recovery?
Oh, I spent a little bit of time recuperating in hospital, I assume. I did not need to go too hard on the laudanum, so I think our full recovery is entirely possible. And I take over the tea and biscuit duty at the local church.
Fantastic. One day you'll be able to buy out the Gaudi monstrosity. Mandy, does the stubble keep? What's the future for you?
Yeah. I think this kind of newfound confidence is really the only thing that was missing to make him an actual competent, successful private investigator. And the stubble. No, probably the stubble. That's probably what gets him the gigs.
Fantastic. And at least now you have a good contact in the police force, you know. Booker and you aren't on such tense terms.
That's right.
Dr. Smythe, any epilogue you'd like to add?
Well, the artifacts might be gone, but there are a handful of tomes in my possession that I think I take the time to read in full and learn as much as I can about these types of things, perhaps trying to find ways I can use the more mystic elements of these tomes to improve my medical practices, to allow me to do such things as I did to Miss Walters, but more effectively and less risky. With less risk. There we go. Grammar. I've got it. And I think with that, Dr. Smythe keeps in touch with the others, should we be hired to do something again, but for all intents and purposes outside of his experiments. he probably withdraws a fair amount from the world, as he kind of already had started to do, but definitely like withdraws, and he spends his time with the books and the interesting implications of such knowledge into the world. And, well, I think he loses a little bit of his mind in exchange for a little bit of understanding.
Always a good bargain to take in a game of Call of Cthulhu. Miss Beasley, I did ask about what happened with the idols, but I didn't ask about what happens to you. You carved out a space to you. Do you think Lombardo showers you with the praise and money that you deserve?
I'm sure he doesn't. That's gang life, baby. It all goes towards paying off my debt or whatever. And then 2 years down the line, I'll find myself deeper in than ever and only in more trouble. And possibly start to think a little more independently, less loyally, and make a play for that idol myself.
Oh, fantastic. All right. I do like that. Well, a rip-roaring success then. Yeah, congratulations.
Nuts.
We will, compared to the disaster of the last Cult of Cthulhu one, congratulations. That's where we will leave things for today. Thank you so much for joining us,
We all
everybody.
lived.
All of the audience. We will be back with Two-Headed Serpent next week. So we will also be, as I mentioned, jumping into our live game at PAX Oz. If you want to hear more about that, you can hear about that on the Chaosium Discord, and we'll also be posting about it on social media and things like that. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Dave. Remember, you can pick up
Jimbo.
Yep,
Thank you,
you.
Jim.
You can pick up Cult of Cthulhu from your friendly local game store or from chaosium.com. And that's about it.